Let's start one topic, which is nothing but what? Functional programming. So I will go inside of functions. So let's create a page, intro or function fundamentals. Empty page. And this thing, let's copy all these things to the function fundamentals. Then here we can say one more page and functional programming. Very important topic. Very important topic. Yes, sir. Functional programming. What is functional programming now? In JavaScript, what is functional programming? How do you define the functional programming? How do you define the functional programming? So, functions are the first class citizens, which means that everything in the JS is treated as function. Yes. Everything can be done in the JS by means of what? Function. Everything can be done as a, everything can be considered as a function. So what is functional programming? Here we can say functional programming is a programming pattern, right? Functional programming, see here, is a programming pattern that treats computation as an evaluation of a mathematical function and avoids changing the state and mutable data. You will get to know. In JavaScript, functional programming involves see, in JavaScript, functional programming involves using functions to maximum extent possible to write clean, concise and maintainable code. Some of the key concepts in the functional programming in the JavaScript include: functions are first class citizens. First class functions. See, functions are first class citizens. Higher order functions. Right? Now, let's try to understand first these two things. So when you say first class functions, what do you mean by that? In JavaScript, functions are first class citizens. Which means they can be assigned to the variables, passed an argument to other function and return from the another function. See here. In the JavaScript, functions are first class citizens, which means they can be assigned to the variables, passed as an arguments to the functions and return from the other functions. Remember that. And return as what? Other functions. Okay. Now what is the higher order functions? These functions take these are the functions that take another function as an argument or return as their result. Now just a minute. Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
So first class function and higher order functions, these are related concepts. There are few more concepts also, but let us try to understand these two things first. Okay, so I will create a new file. So let's loops loops for, we can say loops for
Object array.
object and arrays. Just commit it, and I will create new file, functional programming, functional fnprg01.js, functional programming.js. So there are few more concepts about the functional programming. So when you say functional programming, functions should be first class citizens. Higher order functions means you can pass function as argument to another function. These two things we will first understand now, and then we will see another things.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here I can say we have a function,
Function name.
and we need to give a name, charger. This is the function, charger. This function, first thing, can be assigned, can be assigned to a variable. Function,
Okay.
function, can you see in JavaScript, functions are the first class citizens, meaning that they can be assigned to the variables, passed as an argument to another function, and returned from the other functions. See now, const ch is equals to charger, function charger. So this is a function. You have assigned the function to the variable, which makes it's functional. So I can write it's functional. So what they have said, other part, passed as an argument to other function. So let's have function. Let's have function. Or instead of this, let's say fn1. fn1 in here, fn1.
Fn.
Function
Sir,
fn2.
here is upside Fn1. Only right here.
Okay, fn1, correct. fn2. This is a function 2. Name of the function is what? Function 2. Now to this function I can pass a parameter f. See, and whenever I'm calling this function, right, whenever I'm calling this function fn2, I'm passing reference of fn1. Can you see that? fn2 is accepting a parameter. The parameter name can be anything. I hope you agree with this, right?
Yes, sir.
Even the function name can be anything, correct? Even this variable name can be anything. Do not get confused with these names. These can be anything. But I will try to keep as much as what we can say sensible names. So function fn1 here, function fn1. fn1 is assigned to the variable ch.
Yes.
Now function fn2, function what? fn2, which is accepting one parameter,
Parameters.
which is accepting what? One parameter. So here you called fn2 and passed the reference of fn1, which means that whenever you call this fn like this, let's write console.log fn1. This is fn1. This is fn1. Now see, what would be the output of this? So if I call this, what is going to happen? So fn2,
This is Fn1.
yeah, so here you will get answer what? This is fn1. Why? Because
We can call Fn1.
correct. So technically you have called fn means what? This function you have called. But this function is pointing to whom? This function is pointing to this fn1. Getting my point or not?
Yes.
Or it's difficult?
No, sir.
Okay, let's try to visualize this by means of the whiteboard. Let's try to visualize this by means of whiteboard. So this is, we have a function. This is the function we have. We can add the code format also here. This is the function we have. It's a JavaScript. Yeah. So this is the one function we have. You can consider this is a function 1. We have a function 1. Similarly, we have, okay, you cannot see the design, I'm sorry. I'm doing here. Can you see this is a function 1 we have? This is a function 1 we have. Now, what we can do, let's have a variable. We can consider this guy as a variable. Variable what? ch. So this is a ch variable. This is the ch. This is what? The ch variable. So whenever what you have done, ch is pointing to what? This function. So whenever you refer the ch will say that I'm a variable and I contain this code, right? I'm a variable, I contain this code. Now second time what you have done, we have function 2, this one. We have function 2 and programming language is JavaScript, and here Stack Overflow Lite, and we can add it to the design. So this is the function 2. Now what is there in this function 2? Function 2. So this is the function 2 declaration. Remember that? Function 2 declaration, and here this is the function 2 call. And here we are calling function 2. Here we are calling function 2. Here you are calling what? Function 2. Right? Now this is function 2. This is what you are calling. Now try to grasp the concept by visually here. So this is fn1. So you have called it, right? So this is the definition of the function 2. So function 2 takes one parameter, and that parameter is supposed to be a function. And then we have called over here what? This function. So this is the call fn2, and fn2 fn2 parameter is referring to this function fn1, this parameter. So what will go inside here? So this fn will also, this fn is nothing but this fn1. This fn is nothing but what? This fn1. What is fn1? fn1 is a whole function, and that's why whenever you call this fn over here, technically you are calling this function. You getting my point or not?
Yes.
So here you have called fn2. What is fn2? This whole is fn2. fn2 accepts one parameter as a function. This parameter name can be anything, but it accepts one parameter. Right? So in the call, whenever you call the fn2, what you have passed? fn1.
FN.
But what is fn1? Reference to the function. So this fn becomes this fn1, this fn1 becomes this whole function. So whenever you call over here fn, technically you are calling which function? fn1. See now, function, can you see here? Function is accepting one parameter which is also a function. Remember this thing. So this becomes what? A functional programming. This makes it JavaScript functional. Functions can be passed as a parameter. Functions can be assigned to the variable. Now third way, you have a function, say fn3, and from here we are returning, inside this we are returning another function. Can you see? fn3 is returning another function. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir.
Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
What I am saying? Function is returning another function. So whenever you, so here we can say, sorry, console.log inner function. Now you tell me, if I call fn3, what will happen? If I call fn3,
The answer is inner function.
so you will get answer as
Inner function.
inner function. Just look at the code properly and let me know once again. Think and let me know once again. Yes, what would be the answer? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. The answer is inner function.
Okay, let us run the program. Let us run the program over here. fnprg 01. Can you see the answer is fn1, means it is printing this one.
Okay.
It is printing output to this. But what is the answer of this? You said inner function.
Yes.
But there is no answer called as inner function over here. Why?
Because we cannot refer this function.
Yeah, correct. So if you say, remember that what this, I will write a normal function.
Yes.
Function ABC, and it is returning 10. It is returning what? 10.
Okay.
So whenever you call ABC, what is the output after this execution? Answer would be what? 10. Because straight away it has returned. It will not print anything, but whenever this line would be getting interpreted, answer would be what? 10.
10.
Correct. In the same fashion, whenever this line would be getting interpreted, what would be the output? Whole this thing.
Yes.
So you will get a function after this call.
Yes.
You will get a function after this call. You will not get, this function is still not executed. Remember that. You will get this function as it is after this call. And so if you write it in the console.log, you will see that whole function would be getting printed. whole function would be getting printed. Can you see a function like anonymous? So this function, a function would be getting printed. But if I do something like this, fn, let's hold a result, we can say inr inner function is equals to fn3, and then if I called inr again, now you will get answer as what? Inner function, because this guy is returning a function. That function you have hold inside one variable called as inr, and then as this inr is pointing to one function, similarly like this, so ch is pointing to this function. In this case, inr would be pointing to what? Inr would be pointing to what? The function which is returned by fn3 execution. So inr would be pointing to that function which is returned by fn3 call. So fn3, this will return a function. Remember that. So if you see here, we didn't call the function. This is just a reference. Brackets are missing. Note here, note brackets, brackets, brackets are missing. But here brackets are present. It's a call, right? It's a call to fn3. It's a call to fn3. Why? Note there are brackets. So when you add brackets, there is a function.
Yes, sir.
Now this call will return the inner function. So whenever you call this function, what it is returning? It's a inner function. That function is getting stored in the inr, and when you say inr, now you will get answer as inner function, right? So there is a shortcut to this also, creating variable, then assigning it to that variable, and then calling the variable. There is a shortcut also, fn3. So this much will give you what? This function. Agree or not?
Yes, sir.
This much call will give you this much function.
Returning function.
Yeah. And if you add one more bracket over here, what it will call? So this much is nothing but what? This function. So first this much would be getting executed. It would be returning a function, and then whatever function has been returned by this call, that would be getting called over here. See now? Inner function 2 times. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at this very carefully, functions can be assigned to the variables. Functions can be passed as parameters. This is the variable, and function, this is the fn1, can be passed as what? Parameter. Also, functions can be returned from other functions. Functions can be returned from other function. This makes it functional.
Yes.
This makes it JavaScript functional. That's what the definition says. In JavaScript, functions are first-class citizens, which means they can be assigned to the variables, passed as an argument to the other functions, and returned from other functions. That is nothing but this third one. Functions can be written from other functions. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
And this is nothing but what the functional programming is.
Yes.
Now you ask me question, why you have covered? At a lot of time we are going to use the functional programming. Now see some examples of the functional programming that you will use regularly. A new file, fn prog Okay, before, okay, 02.js, fn hyphen prog dot 02.js. So here I have used the traditional functions. Here I have used what? Traditional functions. So same can be done by means of arrows also. Let us see const fn1 is equals to a arrow which can say console.log. Let's minimize this. Console.log fn1. This is fn1. Can you see arrow? Now can you see already? Can you see this is a variable? To that variable you assigned a function. It's functional. Can you see that? What is this? This is the simple representation of this function. So this function can be represented in this way also after ES6. ES6 says that function can be this function, this is a traditional function, can be represented in this way. And can you see? So this function you have assigned to one variable called as fn name, which satisfies the first definition, which means that they can be assigned to the functions. Sorry, they can be assigned to the variables. So this function you have assigned to fn1 variable, so it's functional. Now can be passed as parameter const fn2 is equals to one function, and here I can accept the fn arrow. Here we can call fn. Can you see? So this thing I have written in this form. Do you agree with this or not? So
Yes.
So this is nothing but this.
Yes.
This is nothing but what? This.
Yes.
If you have not understood, let me know very clearly.
Oh no, sir, I understand.
Okay. So fn2, let's try to call fn1. Just try to pass fn1. Let's run the project. Node fnprg 02
OG, sir.
prog prg 02.js. Sorry, hit the enter. Can you see this is fn1? Same thing.
Yes.
Whatever output you have got over here, same output you have got by calling this thing. But why I have changed? I have just changed the conventions. Instead of writing the traditional functions, we are writing what? Lambdas. Both are same. Both files are same. Okay. Now let's write a function 3 const fn3 is equals to arrow function. Can you see? This is the arrow function which is returning another arrow function.
Yes.
Console.log inner function. So this function, can you say this function? Can you see this function and this line is exactly same? There is no difference.
Yes.
fn3 itself is a function which is returning another function. fn3 itself is a function which is returning another function. Correct? So fn3, if you call this thing, so you will get this function after this call, right? Whenever you call fn3, you will get this function after this call.
Yes.
Right? Now if you can assign const inr is equals to fn3, and here we can say inr straight away. Now run the project, and can you see inner function has been called. So this can be written in the shortcut way like this, fn3 like this,
2 times bracket.
2 times bracket. So this guy will return, this call will return this much function, right? This much function it will return, and after that you are calling whatever function has been returned.
Yes.
Now see inner function 2 times. Okay. So this thing is called as functional programming. So here I have used the traditional function and here I have used what? Arrows. Now let's see some examples. I will create one more file, new file, fn-prg-03. So in JavaScript,
So there is
.js is missing. Now in JavaScript, what I wanted to do, after 3 seconds, so here what will happen? Console.log and you can say hi. So if I run the project, hi would be getting printed, 03. Hi would be getting printed immediately and program gets terminated. See again, hi would be getting printed immediately. Hi would be getting printed immediately and program gets terminated just after executing this line. But what I wanted to do, I don't want to print hi immediately. After 3 seconds, I want to print hi. Not immediately. After 3 seconds, I want to print hi. And till then, your program should be suspended. Your program will not be terminated till then. Okay. See now how to do that. There is one built-in function called as set timeout. And can you see the first parameter, it is accepting a function. First parameter, it is accepting a function. And after how much second this function needs to be called? 3000 milliseconds. So this function would be getting called after how much time?
3000 milliseconds.
Means 3 seconds. 3000 milliseconds means what? 3 seconds. So here you can go and just write console.log hi. Now run the code and can you see program is waiting and after 3 seconds hi would be getting printed. Can you see that?
Yes.
It is not immediately. Now why I have shown you this function? Set timeout is a built-in JavaScript function. JavaScript team has given you this function. But that function accepts function as a parameter. Example of functional programming.
Yes.
Can you see? Set timeout accepts function as a parameter. And this function gets called after 3000 milliseconds. Can you see? This function would be getting called after 3 seconds. A function accepting another function is what the functional programming requirement is. So presently we have written this in the form of traditional way. Let's write this in the form of lambda or arrow function. So here we can write an arrow like this. Can you see? Representation is different. Console.log hi. Here you can write console.log hi. Same. So this line and this line is exactly same. There is no difference. So this line and this line are exactly same. There is no difference.
Yes.
Function set timeouts requires function as a parameter.
Yes.
This can be named function, this can be anonymous function, whatever. So presently this is anonymous function. In this case, this is what?
Arrow function.
Arrow function. So if you want to have a named function, you can have function and
Function name.
print here we can say, and console.log
Console.
hi. So here we can call set timeout, first parameter reference to the print function, and 3 seconds. Same thing. So here named function, you already have created function, that reference you passed over here. Here straight away you pass anonymous function, and here you passed what? Arrow function. So all the three things I have explained you. All the three things are same. There is no difference.
Yes.
Okay, if you run the code, see what happens. Can you see the time? If you say this should be 3000, this should be 4000, this should be 5000, correct? Now they will end one by one.
Yes.
See now, hi, it will wait for 1 second, again it will wait for 1 second, and then program would be getting terminated.
Terminated.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Set timeout.
Yes.
So that's it for the day. I have covered a lot of things today and a lot of important concepts today. And here we can say JS functional programming with demos. So revise this lecture as much as possible.
Yes, sir.
So tomorrow we will see implementation of functional programming in the arrays.
Yes.
Okay, there are a lot of functions we are gonna see that we'll do tomorrow, but revise this session as much as times and be prepared for the tomorrow's session.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. That's it for a day. We may disconnect.
Yes,
if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. Otherwise we are good to wind up the session.
No, sir. I can try homework using.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
I will give you the sample codes also, don't worry. I will give you the sample codes also, don't worry. But I want you to give a try to all the homeworks.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, let's call it for a day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.